Welcome back to Melodic Memories of Light's Monarch. I'm Casey, and welcome to Season 2. The only reason it's going to be Season 2, obviously, is because we are past that first year mark. It's been a long time coming, but I do plan on actually adding some video to this podcast. I don't know exactly how to do it yet, which is why these first few episodes are not even going to have anything like that. You know, a little more focused, a little more known, easier to spread around, and I know everyone enjoys video podcasts. Not everyone, but most people anyways. Don't know how to do it though again, so if anyone has anything to share, please leave it in the comments, or, you know what, reach out to me at Lights Monarch. And now that this podcast is officially a year old, I wanted to touch on this comment that I got from Chris. Congratulations on the gutsy anniversary of your podcast. I have enjoyed listening to all of the episodes since I came across it. I genuinely appreciate your support for BVB and the kind words you say about the band. Enjoy MCR in Chicago. Thank you so much, Chris. I very much appreciate all your kind words, and the reason I'm shouting you out here in such a way is because I unfortunately missed your comment on the YouTube channel there, so thank you again for the comment itself. And of course, I'm gonna always be appreciative of Black Veil and all they do. They are my favorite band after all, which I'm sure you know if you've listened to all the episodes. And again, I cannot wait for the new Black Veil record to come out and actually be a thing. And obviously, I will be in Chicago for the next little while, seeing MCR, as well as System of a Down. Very excited for those two shows. I might have a few others to talk about as well. I'm not too sure yet what is planned. A lot of it is going to be left up as a surprise. As Crystal, the one I'm going to go see, my friend down there, she is kind of planning everything behind the scenes, so it's going to be a surprise. I cannot wait to get on the podcast, though, when I get back and be able to talk about it all, because I'm excited for what's to come. As I said, video will be on the way. I just got to learn a little bit more. I'm getting there. It's a progress. It's a process, okay? And again, Chris, if you are listening to this one as well, thank you so much. I very much appreciate it. And I cannot wait, again, till Black Veil releases stuff, so I have more to talk about, as talk of Black Veil Brides is always welcome here. Anyways, to move on to something other than the fact my podcast is a year old, I needed to also say that I'm going to be looking into getting into some music making. I don't know how fast that's gonna be, but eventually I will get there with the help of my friend Hannah. Now, she knows some things about music. I'm not saying either of us are professionals, but she actually has some music that she has released herself, and this is the reason why I even bring this up, because I was very much shocked and surprised. Not in a bad way. I didn't believe that she couldn't do it by any means. I had full faith in her. And I know the kind of music she likes. It's a little bit different than what I listen to on the daily, but I was very intrigued and excited to hear what she had to say. Like, what kind of art are you going to create, Hannah? And she showed me. She showed me the art she created and posted it to YouTube. It's now on Spotify if anyone is curious. Hannah Hartman on Spotify and I believe SoundCloud and YouTube. Very good. I was actually very shocked. And the song that I personally really enjoyed, which caught me off guard, and mind you, I did like both of them, but this one was like, whoa, because I didn't expect it at all. It was actually her first one that she released on Spotify called Make You Upset. Very good song. Very much my vibe, the sad shit, if you will. And it was something that I can see myself listening to on the daily. Definitely throw it into the playlist, listen to it. Like, regardless, I just needed to mention it because she's a brand new artist. And of course my friend, but that honestly doesn't have anything to do with it. No bias whatsoever, I promise. Her music speaks for itself. She's completely independent, brand new artist, 2 songs to her name at the moment. She's got a lot cooking. She's just sick right now, as I seem to be dealing with my voice cutting in and out. Apologies in advance. But yeah, Make You Upset and the newest release, which is called Last Hour. I very much like that one too. Completely different vibes, the two of them. One is definitely a huge vibe if you like kind of spooky, psychedelic kind of core. Very good. I don't know what else to call it other than that, but again, it all speaks for itself. I'm very impressed, and I listen to a lot of music, and I was shocked. I was actually at Sunrise this past weekend, and that's when I first listened to it. As I played it over the speakers, got a support, but it was the first time I heard the song, at least for Make You Upset. Last hour I did listen to one other time, but I was waiting for it to come on Spotify to, just add it to my songs, and it's just easier. Don't want to get bombarded by ads or whatnot. But yeah, I was incredibly impressed. Very good job. Thank you, Hannah, for sharing the music with me, and I hope that anyone that's listening is able to go and check it out and at least give it a shot, because I do believe that she deserves it. She's very deserving of your listen, and don't even take my word for it. Let the music speak for itself, because she's got a long way to go, as all of us do in life, and I'm very curious and honestly excited to see where she goes. And Hannah, if you happen to be listening to this, which I don't know if you will, congratulations on the song release, and I cannot wait to see what you come up with next. On top of that as well, I wanted to talk about 21 Pilots, as the last episode I did touch on their new song Drum Show. Now, I'm kind of dumb. I'll put that out right now. Put that out there right now. God, I can't even say it right. 21 Pilots, they actually had an interview that I completely missed. I was going to share it on Twitter, but I wanted to talk about it on here too, because it's actually kind of mind-blowing. Like, the whole interview was very run-of-the-mill, but it was with BBC, and they usually do this when they release a new song, be it with BBC or even the Zane Lowe guy from the Apple stuff. This time, they touched on the new song, but he asked some questions about Breach, and obviously the boys gave us some answers, and I was actually kind of shocked, like jaw wide open kind of shocked, as he asked them how much the music video cost for City Walls, as that's the only music video we're getting. It's supposed to be the end of the story in the visual sense. I don't know exactly how that's going to work for the entire album, if it's going to still be a story within, as some of the albums are, or if we're just getting City Walls and that's the end and then the rest are just essentially bonus tracks. I don't expect 21 Pilots to do that, but it does raise the question just slightly. Knowing them though, odds are we are getting a full story within this album. As he said, City Walls is the climax, or I guess finale of the story, and then Intentions, which is the last track on the album, is his take on what the end of the story means to him and what he was trying to, or rather what he intended for us to take from it, and what he, how he processed it. So in the interview, this is what really shocked me. They told him how much, after being asked how much the music video itself for City Walls cost, and they said $1 million. $1 million. Okay, that is nuts. For 21 Pilots, okay, just a little bit of backtracking in their history. They are just a two-piece band from Cleveland, Ohio, if I'm not mistaken. And for them to have gained so much success over the years is already insane. But they are to the point where this is the most expensive music video they have ever done. And I can't speak for how much the live stream event cost during COVID. I have no idea. But I don't think it was $1 million. It could have been, granted, but I don't know. This in particular, though, one music video, $1 million in 5 days of shooting. What does that mean? What are we getting? Is it going to be like a short film? I'm so intrigued by that alone, because he went in depth even more to say that the most exciting and expensive parts of the video to create were recreating old videos to fit in with this new City Walls music video. So many theories arose that instant. That's when my jaw dropped, even more so than hearing $1 million. Crazy to think that the boys can, pump out that money. Absolutely insane. Very proud of them for getting to this point though, and they're actually able to put the money behind their artistic vision And what better time to do it than the very finale? Like the one that you want people to like, yo, did you see that ending? Like the big peak moment. So exciting. And to know that they're recreating old music videos in some sense, we have no idea what that means or how, aside from that he's putting on the old clothes that he still held on to for like 10 years or so in the old videos, and he's putting them on in this new one to then recreate scenes. I'm so intrigued. Are they going to go through Clancy's memories? Is it all in his head? Like, obviously, the story itself, if you allow me to be a little bit out there for a moment, is about mental health, and it's all kind of in his head already. He created this world. He can destroy it if he wants. That lyric is very heavy. It means everything to the story. It just makes me curious. Very, very curious to know what it means to be able to recreate these videos and fit them in to the narrative at this point. As, you know, the concept of it being a cycle is always around. That's what we thought with Clancy itself, the album. I'm not really sure. I'm very excited, as I keep on saying, but I don't want to give too many theories because I don't really know what it means. It could mean so many things. Are we going through Clancy's memories and him trying to actually interfere with himself, and that's why we got to where we got? Or is it going to be different this time because he has Josh with him? Or I don't even know. And I'm going to leave it up to everyone else to speculate, because trust me, I'm speculating up here, but I'm gonna be content in just waiting, because I don't want to set any expectations that are unrealistic. I don't want to overhype anything either, as I know I have done that in the past. Not so much for 21 Pilots, but other things. And I know that regardless of what it is, I'm gonna like it. And I feel like that's something I'm most certain about. So that's also very exciting for me too. Like, I'm just content with sitting here and like waiting for the day to come, kind of like a kid sitting at the Christmas tree, waiting for his parents to finally get up so he can open his first gift. Like, that's me with this music video, just gonna be sitting there waiting. I'm very excited. And a little side note, since I'm going to Chicago, I might actually be able to listen to Breach early. Not gonna say where, and it's not a leak, I promise. But since they're doing their album release party, which I don't even know if I've ever mentioned, they're doing an early album release party at select locations across at least North America. I'm not sure where else got this, but since I'll be in Chicago, nothing usually comes around here where I currently live in Canada. But in Chicago, there's at least one that I know of that we're going to try to go to. And if I can get an early actual album, because they have picture discs there available to buy and some other exclusive merch items. I'm not really sure what that's going to look like. I've never been to an album release party. Let me just preface that right now. But I'm excited because if I get to listen to this album early, it's over. I'm not going to obviously like leak anything. I am 120 million% against leaks. Like, I hate them. I don't think they should ever happen. People that do it, it ruins the experience. I'm not a fan. But I'm excited to hear it early in an official sense. If it was just leaked early, I wouldn't listen to it anyways. I would ignore it. I like to support the proper release. And I still will when it does come out. But just the fact I might be able to hear this early and bring it back home in a physical sense and be able to show it to my buddy Noah, which Noah, if you're listening, shout out to you. And also my roommates, Alex and Logan, shout out to them as well. If I'm able to listen to it with them when I bring it back early, that would mean a lot to me. Because just for the simple fact of the matter that when Clancy came out and those videos, they did a video live stream. They had music videos for every single song. And I sat on the couch, not Noah, I didn't know him yet, but my roommates were there watching it with me, and so was Crystal. And I might be able to go to it with Crystal in the early listening party. And if I can bring it back for all of them as well, it would just feel full circle to me and kind of make my heart full. And obviously, I'm still supporting the actual release. So it's just a little exciting thought, and I wanted to kind of share it. No other reason other than to just be like, hey, I think it's cool, and I really hope I'm able to, if not even get a picture disc vinyl to bring back, to just hear it, to experience it. And then I can anticipate that coming Friday, because it comes out that Friday afterwards. Very, very excited. Anyways, tangent aside, I wanted to also mention a new album that actually just dropped on Friday. And the reason I want to mention it right now is because I went and bought the vinyl for it the same way that I did for Sleep Token. As if you listened to my episode way back when Even in Arcadia came out, I bought the album on vinyl and listened to it with Crystal while she was here. And it was a great experience, the best experience I probably could have had with that album. Tears just pouring down my face constantly. Like literally the most I've ever gotten from an album, which is insane. But this album I did do the same for and got the record for it, the actual vinyl to listen to. I did not have as much of a bawling fit with this one. I don't think I even cried once, but that is not to say it is a bad album. Not every album has to make you turn into a absolute bumbling mess. But this album in particular that did come out on Friday is called Alienation by 3 Days Grace. For those that know, you know. I did go and see them with Reese back in Edmonton maybe a month or two ago. And it was an amazing show. Very fun. A lot of energy. I loved being able to see Adam back with the band, and I know I made that a big focal point. That's why I was so excited for this album and enjoyed all the singles. Mind you, I did skip Kill Me Fast just because I didn't really feel like it. I'm like, yo, the album's coming out soon and I got so much else to listen to, I'll just wait. And I'm glad I did. It is a good song, very good single, but that's not what this is about. This is about the whole album. It finally is out and I bought it on vinyl, invited Reese over. We listened to it together and got to have our first experience with it, which just felt fitting since she was the one that I actually went and saw the show with. So like, who else would have I wanted to listen to it with for the first time ever? So thank you, Reese. Shout out to you if you are listening as well. I know I'm shouting everyone out today, but just wanted to say thanks for listening to it with me and also the show itself. It was a great time, but for Alienation, the album itself, I wasn't disappointed, but I also wasn't entirely enthused. And again, not a bad thing. It's just not the strongest 3 Days Grace has ever been. That, hands down, has to go to, I want to say, like their early albums, 1X era kind of thing. My personal favorite, obviously, is the Life Starts Now album. I know most people like 1X, I get it, but this album, it feels like it's trying to recreate that spark, the fire that first 1X, their big breakout, what that had, they were trying to recreate with this one, and you can very much hear it in almost every song. Every song, both Reese and I kind of agreed that it felt like they were trying to harken back, like on purpose, to old stuff. And I know for sure they did that with Mayday. Like when Mayday came out, the first single there, before we even knew this was going to be an album, most certainly Animal I Have Become right out the gate. Like no mistaking it. But the rest of the album does have its own identity, but very much fits in with the early, want to say like 2006 to 2010 rock and roll, truck rock, I've heard it be described as. It's very good though. It is a very solid 3 Days Grace album and better than some of the ones that they've been releasing recently. I know everything is up to everyone's own opinion, but this one I enjoyed far more than I enjoyed Explosions, as well as even The Outsider, I want to say. It's just something that Adam brings to this band that is unlike anything else. He is 3 Days Grace. Not necessarily just him, mind you, obviously. It's the whole band, but just his energy, his essence. Without that, it doesn't so much feel like 3 Days Grace. I know it has been for a long while, but getting this album just reminded me how much 3 Days Grace is and isn't without him in this band. So I hope that it continues, because when I did get the vinyl, I looked at the inner sleeve. It said that his vocal performance was approved by Spine Farm. So obviously he's not rejoined 3 Days Grace. So odds are he's probably going to go back to his old band. Don't know if this is going to be a one-off. We will see. It probably depends on how well it does. So if you like Adam being in 3 Days Grace, support this album and show it with your dollar bill there, or streaming, some whatever you can do, prove it because it needs to be proven. Because if you don't, odds are he's probably going to go back to his old band and say, hey, we did a reunion. They might do one more reunion tour for like 1X and that might be it. Don't know exactly. I would still love if they are still to do more albums together. I would personally adore an album of theirs just going through their greatest hits, but redone and with both singers. I think that would be so insane because I know seeing it live, I Am Machine with Adam and Matt, that was everything for me. Amongst many other songs, of course, but that, it just was so good. And I am getting mini goosebumps thinking about it. So I hope something like that happens, if not another full-length album. I don't really think it's necessary. I don't know if 3 Days Grace has much more to bring to the table that is considered new, in the sense of like for them to have something to say, because it does feel like they've said everything they've said on this album before, just in a different way. And I think the novelty of them both being on the album is kind of what sells it for me. And I think without that, it would just be another one to listen to and maybe overlook. Granted, I'm saying this by saying I am not the massive 3 Days Grace fan as some people are. And power to you if you are. I very much adore them because I grew up with their music and that sound. My brothers really liked them, and I obviously latched onto them too. Not as much as some, though, and that's probably why this album didn't hit me as hard as some other ones did. Especially Life Starts Now. Though, I do have to say my favorite song is most certainly still Apologies. That single, there's nothing better than it. Prove me wrong. Tell me what your favorites are, because I would love to know, but Apologies is still my favorite, even though it was a single. I think the next one that kind of comes close would have to be Never Ordinary, or even Don't Want to Go Home Tonight. I very much enjoyed it. The only song that kind of felt a little off was the title track, Alienation. I think the lyrics on it was a little bit, like it could have used a little bit more cooking in the kitchen, maybe. Just perhaps. That's just my opinion, though. Apologies. Then In Cold Blood, I believe it was that one anyways. It sounded very much like Mayday. Like some of the album sounded like some of the singles. It was weird to kind of explain, but it is very much a 3 Days Grace album. If you like 3 Days Grace, you're gonna love this. It's very much them no matter what, and it also has some moments that are vulnerable and just the same kind of 3 Days Grace we've come to love, and it has that old sound to it, and that is the best part about it. Congrats on the album 3 Days Grace. Aside from that, some other new releases though I did want to touch on that I was able to listen to on Friday, not on vinyl, but on streaming of course, was the newest single from Dayseeker called Shapeshift. Very much enjoyed that one. I was very happy to hear it. And I say that because the last couple singles that they've been releasing, I haven't actually enjoyed much. And it's sad to say as a fan of that band, because I want to like their stuff. I very much do. And when I don't, it's upsetting because, I've been looking forward to new music for a while. Their last new thing was Replica, which was a quote-unquote acoustic album. I can't even call it acoustic, though, because there's literally live instruments, plugged in instruments in it. It doesn't make sense as to why it was called acoustic, but that's a tangent and a rant for another day. I'm not going to get into that here. But Shapeshift, it was more Dayseeker than the last two songs were. And I don't know if that's a good thing for some people. For me, I would have to say it's a plus. But I would love to know what people think about it, because personally, I like that one more than the others, but I've also seen the opposite. So I'm not sure how this album is going to turn out. It seems to be a little bit more divisive of an album, especially from their last I believe it was Dark Sun. That album, it is so heavy. It is so raw. Obviously, he's dealing with it. If you know the story behind the album. Not that it's a concept album, but what influenced the album, rather. If you know, and it's very sad. But I hope this album keeps Dayseeker not so much in the same, like, obviously an album has to evolve a band, or else why would you make it, unless if you're, hearkening back to the past, like 3 Days Grace just did. But I'm curious to see it. I'm not so much excited, but I would love to know what the inspiration is behind this one, because it doesn't feel or seem like he's dealing with that heavy of a load anymore, which good. Honestly, good. It's not healthy to always be dealing with mental health issues. It's good to get over them. Like, that's the point. You got to heal. And a lot of bands seem to be writing albums like that. I mean, NF with Hope, that was a few years ago now. And I believe Everybody's Talking by All Time Low, which is supposed to come out sometime soon. That's an album about, being okay and feeling whole again. And I believe the new Devil Wears Prada album called Flowers, which is coming November 14th, I want to say. I'm almost positive. I know it's in November, and that's where I'm transitioning to. Devil Wears Prada, they just released their new EP called Where the Flowers Never Grow. I was able to be there for their live premiere of the video. Very, very good. Very happy with it. And the songs follow suit. And sorry, November 13th is Flowers' release date. I was one day off, damn. But Where the Flowers Never Grow is also EP. The Flowers album, I can assume will be the same, is about that closure, that healing, and being better. And obviously the songs are still very emotional because it's real, it's raw. You don't just get better like that. You feel it and you deal with it. And it has elements of both sadness and feeling whole again. But this new EP that they just dropped is one of my favorite EPs I have ever heard from, or sorry, I can't even say favorite EPs. I haven't checked any other EPs out of theirs, but some of my favorite singles they have ever released, and that goes Where the Flowers Never Grow, For You, Ritual, and Wave. Those are the new songs. Some of the best I have ever heard, or at least my favorites, from the Devil Wears Prada. And I very much like them. I've seen them twice. Thank you so much, Paul, my buddy. Shout out to him. I know he doesn't listen to podcasts, but all the same. He showed me this band, and I'm very grateful he did, because they just have a different way of making music. And I know a lot of people know them. They've been around a long time. But this album here is probably going to be my favorite. Not only do I adore floral aesthetics, floral themes, but also the simple fact of it just being about what it's about and feeling so emotional. That itself is what really gets me going. So I'm excited, to say the least. And that's all of the new releases that I was able to listen to. Again, Hannah, she has some new songs that are out now. And I'm just very excited for the state of music. I know I'm going to be gone in Chicago for a while. You guys will still get a new episode from me. Don't know exactly what I'm talking about yet, but it will release when it releases, and then I'll be back to it with a full-blown episode about seeing MCR and seeing System of a Down with Avenged Sevenfold and whatever else I get up to down there. But I think the only other thing I really wanted to mention was Ninja Sex Party. Don't know if anyone knows who that is, but Ninja Sex Party, they are a band that I personally like. They're more of a comedy band, but they do have some albums called Under the Covers. Now, they're releasing Volume 4 soon, and it's just a cover album. It's their way of doing cover albums, and they're some of my favorites. Comes out October 10th, I do believe. And the track list was something that really just to die for. I'm very excited. Very, very excited for this. And that track list is The Power of Love, Just What I Needed, Rosanna, Don't You Forget About Me, Walk the Dinosaur, Alone, What a Fool Believes, Invisible Touch, Can't Fight This Feeling, Life's What You Make It, SOS, and the final track, Hey Jude. That's my favorite Beatles song, and they're going, I'm very excited because I am a huge fan of Under the Covers. All of their cover albums I personally think are gold. Their first one is the best one, yes, but the rest of them, they don't disappoint me. And I know they're a comedy band, not everyone listens to them for Under the Covers, But there are a good chunk of fans that listen to them specifically for the covers. So this one I am very excited for. And I know it's just a cover album, but I couldn't go to the end of this podcast without at least mentioning it, because the exact day that it was actually announced was the exact same day that I just, for whatever reason, no idea why, complete coincidence, or I'm just psychic without knowing it, I woke up that morning, and instead of listening to my usual podcast that I listen to every morning, I really just felt like listening to the Under the Covers albums, and I have a playlist with all 3 volumes in it. I listened to all 3. By the time the 3rd one ended, I checked my email, and literally minutes of a difference, the 4th one was announced. And that is shocking. I don't know how to explain that, and I don't think I can, but I needed to share all the same. And the only other thing, Lego Batman, The Legacy of the Dark Knight, that's coming. I'm a huge Lego Batman fan. Very much enjoy the Lego video games. I couldn't not mention that alongside Pac-Man World 2 DLC with fucking Sonic the Hedgehog. Absolutely wild. That came from Gamescom, which happened this past week, and those were my highlights. Obviously, there's a lot more to talk about with Gamescom, but I'm not going to get into that here. I just wanted to mention the things that stuck out to me, and hopefully y'all care and cared to listen. Thank you so much for listening and being back here for season 2. I cannot wait for what's to come. I know it's going to be a little bit of a slow start, but I will get there. We will get there. So thank you so much for listening, and thank you for discovering the music within.